total touchdowns.
I think that he's going to throw for more than 20 touchdowns. And I think that he's going to run for, I'm going to say he's going to run for close to 10. He might have the team lead in rushing touchdowns. Who knows? Because he can. And yeah, I think he's going to throw for, 25 plus, 25 to 30. Total touchdowns, I'm saying in the high 30s, maybe mid 40s.
Sure.
Total touchdowns between
Well, and
rushing
that would be a school record, I believe.
sounds like a school record.
Because I think the record for passing touchdowns in the season is like 28 or something like that. It's really not that crazy of a number.
It's not.
It really isn't. Okay, so quarterbacks wise, obviously Derek King. I mean, he's already been named the starter, which is pretty crazy just considering what the situation was last year. I mean, I don't think it was like 2 weeks into fall camp before Jaron was named the starter. Boy, that was just a crazy ass time. But now we have Derek. There's no drama. Everyone knows who QB1 is. Mike, how big do you think of an impact that is when you don't have that starting quarterback drama like the Canes have had the past 2 years?
You're asking like what it does to the team when you don't know who the guy is,
or just how much of a difference does it make this year now that they don't have to speculate in the preseason and even in the regular season who the starter is?
Dude, I think that does a lot because not only does it kind of cause confusion between whoever is involved, but I also think it causes division because if the coaching staff is flip-flopping, I mean, it's human nature that it's going to happen amongst the players in the locker room. And, well, I think this guy should be starting, and I think this guy should be starting. And then, that's what causes a rift. Not in the locker room. I don't know what the hell's going on. Don't have any inside news or anything like that. But I think it was kind of evident. Like, you see, like, I mean, fans do it. It's only natural for the players to do it. Look, I'm a Kosi guy. No, I'm a Jaron guy, whatever. But I think it will bring a sense of calm over the guys, knowing that, look, this is our guy. Okay, he is a fifth-year senior. We know what he can do. We got to listen to him. If everybody is just on one accord, okay, and they really put aside their and I think that's the big thing, not scheme, not talent. I think it's ego. And you just say, look, let's do our job. Let's listen to this guy because he wants to win just as much as anything. I really think that it's not going to be an issue. But that's a huge thing, man. Knowing who your leader is and it's unquestioned, and you have that same sense of direction in the locker room. That's an underrated aspect for any team in any sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just see the problems that it brought to the quarterback room and just the team in general over the past 2 years. I mean, it was a huge distraction, but I think that we can all agree that we are very comfortable in Derek King as our quarterback for 2020. Okay, let's move to the running backs, a position group that you and I talked about the other night on your show, on Sirius XM. Okay, we got DJ Dallas is gone. Lorenzo Lingard is gone. But I'm not worried about our running back room. I really, really like Cam Harris. I think he'll be the starter. And then I think it's up to Jalen Knighton, your boy Robert Burns, or Don Chaney as to who will be that second running back in that rotation. So let's talk about that first. Who do you think will back up Cam Harris?
I was getting a little bit of static. Were you asking me who am I kind of thinking who's going to back up Harris?
Yeah.
The offense is new to everybody, so nobody has a leg up, right? So you have college playing experience if you're Burns, but that's about it. You don't have any heads up on the playbook because Chaney and Knighton have been here. So with that being said, it's up to what you could do at Greentree and reps and everything like that. I'm going to say Chaney.
Ooh.
I'm going to say Chaney. Between him and Knighton, I mean, you can't go wrong, but I just think Chaney's going to be getting the bulk of the carries between the two freshmen. You know I love Robert Burns. Again, and I wear this stat out, or not stat, but whatever you want to call it, but he was ranked ahead of DJ Dallas, Jonathan Garvin, Trajan Bandy, and of course, what's his name over at Clemson? What's their starting running back's name? I'm drawing a blank.
Atuet or
Etienne, Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
Robert Burns was ranked ahead of all of these guys when they came out of high school in what is it, 2016, I think, or 2017 recruiting class. So the guy can play. Obviously, he's had injuries, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's him. But you kind of want to start getting ready for the future, right? So I want to see Chaney. I want to see Knighton. My money's on Chaney just because I think he's a badass. And he's a 305 running back, and you know how I feel about those guys. Robert Burns too. But, yeah, man, either way, I think you can't go wrong because I really think that Robert Burns will make some people open up their eyes if he is the number 2 because he's no scrub. He's 5'11", 225. He's bigger than Chaney. He can move, and I think it'll be a nice number 2 if it is him.
Yeah, and I think people, I'm going to say Jalen Knighton, and people know that I'm a big Knighton fan. I mean, the way you think about 305 running backs is the way I feel about 954 running backs.
Right. Okay.
Tyrone Moss, all those great guys. I love Jalen Knighton's skill set for this offense. I think his speed is really what sets him apart from Chaney and Burns. I think he has that breakaway home run threat speed, kind of like a Lamar Miller or Duke Johnson. The guy, his high school highlights are they're just insane. He had the second most rushing yards in Broward County history. And just within the first week of spring camp, NFL talent evaluators were at Greentree, and they were saying that, Knighton could be the best running back on the Canes roster, like right now, which is insane. So, it's crazy to think about, and I really just like Jalen Knighton. And what he brings to the table and everything like that. So I think that he will back up Harris, and I think he's going to be one of the best running backs we've seen to come out of Miami in a minute. So, but let's talk about Cam Harris because I think people are severely underrating him heading into this year. What are your thoughts on Cam Harris, and how big of a year do you think he could have this season?
Definitely, I think he'll sniff the 1K mark, because he had he had just under 600 yards last year, but limited duty. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it because, we saw him, but, I don't think we saw him enough. And I'm looking at his stats right now. How many carries did he have?
I think he had just over 100.
Come on, man. That's But anyway, what I like about his game, man, and is that he's a football guy. He's football. He's not a mouth guy. At least from what I can remember, from what I've seen, he's just gonna run you over and do it again. I think he's underrated in the open field. Okay, you know that he has a strength in his lower body. Street trunks and everything like that. He's a strong guy. But he's a smart runner. He's full of he's strong in his faith, and I think that's going to take him a long way, man. He has all the skills. I think he's good in pass blocking too. But I hope that he gets over that 1K mark. He definitely has the ability to do so. But something's telling me that we may not see any running back go over 1K just because of that's how spread around the ball is going to be in the air and on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point too, and I have Cam rushing for like 800 to 1,000 yards. I think that is
Yes.
I think that's a fair prediction. You look at SMU's running back last year, and I wish I had the stats in front of me, but he was well over 1,000 yards and things like that. And Miami, people don't realize how, I think we were 120th in rushing last year. 120th. With DJ Dallas, Cam Harris, and Lorenzo Lingard.
Oh my God, man! That's your favorite guy calling plays, man. The new running backs coach over at Cincinnati. I know you don't say his name, but yeah, that sounds like him.
And we were so excited last year about the running backs and what they were going to do, and they didn't do anything. But it wasn't their fault.
No, it wasn't, man. It
Oh,
wasn't.
it really wasn't. But I really think that the running backs are going to, and I wrote a few like last week or the week before on State of the U, why everyone is expecting this running game or this passing game to be just the main picture of this offense. But I really think it's going to be the running game, and because you also have to throw in De'Aaron King's running ability as well.
Yep, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
and going back to your point where you don't think Cam is going to go over 1,000 yards, and that's okay because what if Cam has say 800 yards, De'Aaron King has 650, and Jalen Knighton has 500 rushing yards?
Look, I'm glad you said that because I think one of the key things for this offense on the ground, you have to set a benchmark as to how many rushing yards we are going to need to be the offense that we want. And I think you got to shoot for something like close to 3,000 yards on the ground over the season as a team. Definitely over 2,000. But I think to be the offense that Marsh, we just got to score 30 points a game, man.
Yeah.
That's all we got to do. And to bring up your point about the SMU guys from last year, I pulled it up. Xavier Jones was their leading rusher. He had 1,276. Their leading receiver had 1,225 receiving yards.
And how many receptions? 119, I believe it was.
You mean Xavier Jones, the running back?
No, I was talking about the receiver. How many receptions did the receiver have?
He had James Prochet had 111 receptions for 1,225 and 15 touchdowns.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Do you realize our leading receiver last year had like 40 catches or 50 catches?
Dude, we are in for fireworks because can you imagine Lashley coming in here and be like, look at these toys I have I didn't have this at SMU, and he made it work. This is not SMU talent he's messing with, man. He must be like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. And I think that's what really separates him from the last offensive coordinator we had is that Lashley's coming in and he's seen these guys as what my offense can do for these guys and everything like that. But our last offensive coordinator was like, well, I have my system and these guys are just going to have to fit into my system.
Yeah,
like
man,
there's no flexibility.
He was trying to fit how does it go? A square peg into a round hole or whatever it is?
I don't know. It's something just too. It just pisses me off just to talk about. Okay, so running backs and receivers, I think most people are fairly confident in. Quarterbacks and running backs. But let's go to the wide receivers because a lot of people are questionable about the wide receivers. They are worrisome because Jeff Thomas is not here, KJ Osborne is not here, and we have a bunch of guys who, on high school tape and high school rankings, things like that, they're very, very good, but they just haven't been able to do a lot at Miami yet. So let's talk first. Who are your 3 starting receivers in this offense?
That's tough, man. And obviously I'm going off of potential because a lot of these guys, they haven't shown what they can do consistently, and that's the name of the game. What can you show me? What can you do all the time? I don't want it 1 game in a row or 2 games in a row, whatever, all season long. So I mean, and I hate to do this because a lot of people are saying that he's tailor-made for this, but top 3, I'm leaving out Mike Harley because, and I said it last year, I was wrong.
Ooh.
This has to be Mark Pope's year. This has to be a breakout year for Mark Pope. It has to be. I got, in no particular order, I'm not saying that he's going to be the one, but I got Pope, okay? I got Wiggins. You got to have Wiggins because, I mean, the guy's 6'3", 195, and to me, he broke out last year.
Yeah.
Him and I want to say a freshman, but I don't. I really think it's going to be Peyton. I really think it's going to be Peyton.
Okay.
I think it's going to be those 2 guys.
Well, I think a lot of people look at our freshmen at any position and they want to throw them in there just because they're freshmen. Like a lot of people think that Restrepo is going to have a big year, and I'm like, I don't think he's going to have a big year, and I think a lot of people are just saying that just because he's a freshman. and
Right.
people were just excited about his signing. Restrepo doesn't need to have